Check, check. 1 2 1 2. Looks like it's working. Hello, guys. Good Monday. How you guys doing? Today, woke up around 10 a.m. I had a couple important phone calls, which I will get to later. I have a couple questions for any adults in the chat that live in the USA. I just need some advice. So, you know, you guys come here for advice from me, but I need advice from you this time. Besides that, no, I just went and got a fish a new cone because he's having some problems getting over these fleas. I mean, obviously, I wouldn't want to be put in a cone, but he's doing more damage to himself than the fleas are doing to him. We got rid of most of the fleas. I mean, I keep giving him baths every other day. You know, making sure, like, you know, he's not having an allergic reaction to it, and it's not that. But we bug bombed the upstairs yesterday, the room that I live in, and they should all be gone by now. I'm gonna go ahead and switch over to the intermission screen real quick. So like I said in the beginning, I have a couple questions for you guys. We can talk about it as we go through the technical analysis of today, but the gist of it is, I want to get health insurance because I have some plans to go get evaluated for some things. Nothing crazy. It's just, I just want to see something. And I went on healthcare.gov last night, you know, filled out the information. A couple minutes later, got a call, and, you know, it's so far seems legit. I don't know how this is. I don't know. Like, this is the problem. Like, I'm well versed in, you know, crypto and financial stuff, and I can spot a scam from a mile away, and this is why I'm having some problems with it. But he basically, you know, took me through the process. He walked me through a couple different quotes from some different offers, but then took me to the private side of things, and basically goes, okay, so, you know, I'm following along. I know a little bit about how this all works. And he showed me, you know, this company, if you get approved, we'll have a $0 deductible, and it'll be $200 a month. And I think that's fair. But the only problem is that's not a good business model. So, you know, if it's too good to be true, it probably is. So, you know, it's called Freedom Healthcare or Freedom United or something like that. I looked up the reviews and they're quite awful. So I might even cancel my healthcare before I even start it. And I mean, I'm sure the guy that I'm working with, which he's nice, but, you know, people got to make money at the end of the day. So I asked him, I said, hey, are you commission based or are you paid by the state? And he goes, I'm commission based. And I get that. All right, I get that. We all got to eat. So I was, you know, just asking my honest question. I was like, is this really what you would recommend? He said, sure. I mean, he didn't say it like that, but he said, yes, this is what I would recommend. I'm not quite sure because the reviews online are quite awful, but I don't know if they're awful because they're dealing with different things. Because what I'm getting done will be very, very basic. It's not going to be, you know, getting a kidney replaced. So I don't know. We'll have to see. It's a month-to-month basis thing. So, I mean, I can cancel anytime after I'm approved. I'm going to try it out, see what happens. But I don't know. I wanted something reputable, like, you know, Blue Cross, Blue Shield, or whatever it's called, or Kaiser Permanente. But apparently they don't offer those in my area. But as far as I know, like with like car insurance, if you opt for a higher deductible, you get a lower monthly fee. As it should be. If you're willing to pay more out of pocket, you're covering the insurance having to cover all of it. But if you want to pay very, very little out of pocket, you have to pay more of a monthly fee because then the insurance has to make sure that they can kind of offset that balance. Why isn't healthcare working the same way? That's what kind of screams too good to be true for me. United Healthcare is a good one. I think it's, I forgot what it's called. It might be Freedom. I think it's United Healthcare, but it's like Freedom something. I don't know. I'm hoping all goes good because Watching my parents growing up dealing with health insurance companies, definitely not fun to watch. I don't want to be in that particular situation myself. To give you more information on, what I'm going to be doing, pretty much every single person in my family has ADD, ADHD, however you want to see it. And I just want to go get it checked out and see if anything changes. Because, I don't know, lately, I just don't find... I find myself, I don't want to do anything. And, that's why the live streams have been lacking and everything like that. So I want to go see if I can get something fixed. Hopefully it'll improve my life better. I know I have a very strong stance against, Adderall, Visine, Concerta. I don't think they're the best thing. If I do get prescribed that, it's going to be a low dosage just to give me a little extra boost. And if I see any negative side effects, I'm definitely going to step away from it. I think those types of things are a lot more dangerous when being used with developing children. Basically, their brains are forming around the fact that they have this chemical. So when they're older, they don't have the same dopamine production as a normal person. So I think me being 22, I've never been diagnosed or treated for ADD, so I haven't taken any sort of prescription for it. So I think when my brain fully developed, I think now's the time to look into it, see if it might help. Because my sister takes it, and not the sister I live with, but my older sister. And she's 35, something like that, 36, 37, I don't know. We're kind of detached because she was the firstborn and I'm the lastborn, and there's like 20 something years between us. But she was like, if I didn't get put on that medication, I would probably have gotten a divorce by now. And she was just telling me how much it's made her life better. So I'm gonna look into it, see if it helps. And that's why I'm getting healthcare. And I just asked the dude, and I was like, hey, would it be cheaper for me as a 22-year-old that doesn't have a dangerous job to pay out of pocket to go get the consultation and, pay for the prescription per month? He told me no, that it would still be beneficial for me to get healthcare. And I don't know. I don't know if he's doing that just for his commission. Because I told him he was into crypto. He asked me all about it when we were on the phone. I told him I had the YouTube channel, so he's probably watching right now, maybe, if he's off work or something. And I told him, I was like, hey, if you help me out here and give me some honest information because you actually work in the field. He's the same age as me too, 22. And I would give him free lessons. I'll teach him how to trade. I'll make him more than his commission ever will. But he still told me no. So if he's being honest with me, all right. Okay. Enough of that. We'll come back to this in a couple minutes. Let me get through the TA for anybody that's antsy about it. We're crashing. We're good. We're good. Chillax. All right. Live screen. Okay, cool. All right. So last time we talked about BTC. We were recently getting a bounce coming back off of this low right here. And the way that I was looking at this, just making sure everything's lining up properly. Let me put this in full screen. There we go. I was looking at this as an A, a B, and we were in the C wave. Now, I don't know what's the case for Bybit and everything, but I'm looking at BTC USD on Bitstamp. And let me kind of zoom in a little bit further here. We put in a lower low, so insignificant, but it is a lower low. All right, so with that being said, this could be working out kind of like an ABC flat correction right here. But if not, then this would definitely be looking like a wave A, 1, 2, 3, A, 1, 2, 3, B, and then 1, 2, 3, C. And then we should put in a lower low, and then that's where I'll snag my entry at. So far, I've gotten stopped out about 2 or 3 times. I believe two to 3 times on this level right here, trying to get an entry. I got wicked in early this morning, but by the time I woke up, which was about 10 a.m., we fell back through and we're just down here. So that's kind of my plan for BTC. But at the moment, if we do not continue and put in a lower low, my entry is going to be off of this smaller time frame ABC right here. I'll be taking a re-entry at 56,665. Now, I believe on Bybit, let me go ahead and check for you guys real quick. On Bybit, I think my entry is a little bit different because the way the chart lines up. Give me one moment. On Bybit, my entry is set for 56,576. Just because of how Bybit's, let's see, 56,000. All right, so it's about it's about $70 less. But I'm keeping it that because I usually like to go off of the exchange that I'm actually trading on's price. So that's my entry, 56,576. And then, of course, that's with a 5% stop loss at 10x. Now, that's not 5% of actual chart. That is 5% of my margin. All right. So if I lose about 2% of my portfolio. Now, all right, that is the trade that I'm currently looking to get into. All right. If we're looking at this as a possible A, possible B, and then a possible flat correction. No, just taking a chance on it. I'm going to be hopping in at this point right here. 0.5. And like I said, I'm going to be holding that trade for as long as it will go. All right. I'm hoping that this next bottom that we find, and when we do snag it because of how fast this downtrend has been, that's going to be the final low before we do have a push to the upside. Like I said, I'm looking for, 75K before it really starts to slow down. And then hopefully that C wave of that uptrend will, peak somewhere around 80, 85, 90. That's what I'm hoping for. It could work out a little bit different. Maybe the top of the A is around 80K. B comes down to 75, 72. And then C wave goes up to 90 to 100K. We don't quite know yet, but we know it's coming. All right. I don't think the market's quite done yet. Now let's check up on a couple of the other coins that we were looking at on the last live stream. One of them being, I'm already in this position. All right. So I wouldn't advise an entry just yet, but on sushi, we looked at this last live stream. We talked about, it was right here, somewhere in this position. And I said, if we put in a lower low than the A, we can see a downtrend that broke into an uptrend, that broke into a downtrend. If we put in a lower low, that would be a good setup for sushi. Now, I don't advise you follow me on this, but I am playing the smaller time frames. All right. I'm just basically playing this little thing right here. All right. It's very insignificant compared to what we're used to playing, but it's so close to that entry already that it's worth playing on. And I usually like to get in a little bit earlier if I have the option on some of these volatile altcoins, because volatility. So if I can catch whatever the the closest bottom is, and it comes up 2%, 3%, it gives me a little bit more of a cushion if it is starting to play along this line. Having an entry from down here definitely does help. So on a smaller time frame, it looks like this. Boom, boom, boom. Put in a lower low, and I snagged it right there. So I don't expect that to hold. All right, I'm more likely going to get wicked out of it. But sushi is definitely one of the coins that has treated me well in the past. And with this large of an ABC correction, I don't know, guys. It's looking pretty good. Not going to lie. We had an ABC top right here into an ABC correction. Pretty textbook. And once we get back above that $8.53 level, I'm pretty confident in it achieving some further upside. I don't know about breaking $16 again. I'm going to kind of call it by ear. These are both kind of longs that I'm picking up that I am kind of waiting further signal on when I should really start taking profit on these. So this sushi long, I'm going to hold it. And once I see BTC start giving some leeway to the short side, I think I might grab out of it. But I mean, if you look at this right here, from where I picked it up, now I don't recommend this whatsoever, guys. All right, but I am playing it with a 1% stop loss. Now, traditionally on these smaller time frame altcoins that are more volatile, you do want to use probably about a 2% or more. Now, I'm used to using small stop losses, and I'm sitting here at the computer all day, so I can watch it like a hawk. But for some people, that might not be a possibility. So with a 1% stop loss, even coming back up to, say, the 0.441, all right, that is already a 44 risk-reward ratio trade. I'm using 2% of my portfolio as risk, so I have about 4% risk spread across sushi and BTC. If this just reaches the 0.441 target, which really isn't asking a lot for a volatile coin like this. I mean, we saw it drop a crazy amount in the past couple, 2 weeks or so. Is already pretty much doubling my portfolio. All right, now if I choose to hold this and BTC still looks like it's got some headway, and we come back up to, say, the last previous high before the downtrend started, that is a 95, almost 200% to my portfolio right there. And then past that point, I don't know where it's going to go. I'm not calling targets. I'm not doing any of that false stuff. I'm just saying I do think there's a future upside for this. I don't think it's going to be much, but I do think there's going to be. Even if it just gets up to 21 bucks there, that would be about 300% to my portfolio. So looking forward to it. We'll see if it happens. All right. Just a lot of people were asking me about altcoins, whether or not I'm going to go back and trade them. It was just I was looking for a good setup on one. And I'm not trying to spread myself too thin. I think sushi's a good coin. It's got a good backbone, and I'm willing to put some money down. All right. Ethereum. We don't look at Ethereum all that often much anymore. That does kind of suck. All right. I will be honest. You hate to see it. You hate to see you got a ABC right here. And then right here within that ABC, you had an A, a B, and a C. And that entry worked out pretty well. Now, I don't think it does not look like it hit the 0.441. It kissed it. It kissed the 0.441 and then came back down. So if that is the case and you guys are still playing on Ethereum, me personally, what I would do is if this continues to stay above this line, I would still be in my long. But until that point, if we do put in a lower low, your new entry point would be from this level right here. And then the last thing that we checked on last live stream majorly was KDA, just because, it's a popular coin. I support my boy Ryan, and we called it. All right. Last time that we were on live stream, the 20th, all right, we were sitting somewhere around here, and we looked at this, and this is, what I try to teach you guys all the time about, using your brain and looking at a picture and determining whether or not this is the final structure. All right. We said in that live stream, we have an A, we have a B. It looks like it wants to put in a lower low. I didn't advise anybody to wait or buy or sell. All right. But we called an A, we called a B. We were sitting around here and I said it wants to put in another lower low. And that's the whole point. You're patient and you wait for the coin to do what you need it to do, or you don't get an entry, aka you're not entering it all. So you're not losing money, you're not gaining money. Or if you want to trade, you're going to trade. If you want to invest, stick your money in something, lock up your coin base and walk away, right? But if you're going to trade, you have to be patient and be willing to not get a trade. All right. So, for anybody that's on Ryan's channel is looking for a buy-in point for KDA, I can't support the coin based off of like what I know about it, because I know very, very little about it. But based off of the technical analysis, if I was to be getting into this coin, I would be getting in above the $17.21 level and setting up an appropriate stop loss. Yeah, that's about it. Okay. Let me go back and read some of the messages you guys sent while I was talking about the healthcare, because like I said, I'm just afraid. I'm afraid of getting screwed out of money and not getting the coverage that I need. Because, I mean, I looked up on GoodRx, like, let's say I got prescribed Adderall. GoodRx was telling me that it was only like $40 for the monthly supply. All right. Even if it was $80, I can handle that. $80, fantastic. All right. But I don't know. My sister was telling me that they were trying to charge her $500 per month for the prescription refill. It's so jacked up. Like it. And people, like, when we talk about the healthcare in the US, they go, that's why I like to live in this country. It's still screwed up in some other way. Like, I don't know why. I don't know why they're allowed to, you know, I was talking to the dude on the phone and he was like, so, you know, once you go through and you get like a, you know, surgery or something, you know, the hospital and the healthcare provider will debate over what is getting paid, and then they will send you the bill. So I'm basically, I told him, I was like, so you mean to tell me that the hospital and my healthcare provider haggle over my health, and I just get I get the last say in it? I don't know, it just seems weird. You didn't look at other options? I did look at other options. Like, he was walking me through on a screen share of, you know, what the quotes were from other companies based on, you know, my height, my weight, my gender, my age. And, like, some of them were like, you know, $320 a month, but it was like $8,700 deductible. And then he goes, but if you go private healthcare and you get approved, and he was telling me that the reason why it's a $0 deductible and a low monthly fee is because you have to be pre-approved based on your medical conditions. Basically, like, they're trying to make sure that they got free checks from people that aren't going to have much hospital bills, which obviously I don't blame them. Like, if I was a healthcare company, that's exactly what I want. I want someone that's going to pay me monthly, that's very rarely going to have problems, that pays, you know, so I don't have to pay for it all. But it just seems odd to me. Market Matt, he said, I only feel that way when I'm not winning in life. I think that's the part of the live stream where I said, you know, most days I don't feel like doing anything. Like, it's just like a lack of motivation. And like, if you look at it from like a standard point of view, I'm winning at life. You know, I got, you know, a good household that I live in, no problems, good car, reliable. I'm making good money. But I don't know, it's just like this. I don't know how to explain it. And I mean, as a kid, you know, I didn't do, you couldn't, my parents could not make me do homework or anything like that require me to sit down and pay attention to it. You know, obviously I'm a kid, so I'd rather be doing other things, but at the same time, it was exceptionally hard for even me to do that for myself. So, with the fact that, you know, all of my nephews have been diagnosed with it, my two sisters have been diagnosed with it, my mom has not been diagnosed with it, and it seems like my mom takes it as like a personal slight, that if I have ADD, or if any of my sisters have ADD, that she passed down bad genetics, and she like takes it as if we're insulting her, which we're not. ADD isn't a bad thing. It's just the problem is I don't work a daily job that is active, which for ADD people, that is really what you need, because ADD comes from the evolutionary process of hunter-gatherers. All right, hunters and gatherers, when they're out and about trying to get food, they have to pay attention to the wind breeze, smells, what they're seeing in front of them, sounds, rustling leaves, predators sneaking up on them. So they have to pay attention to pretty much everything around them to do their job. And that got passed down through genetics. In a society where it's like a one lane productivity street, where like I have this one task, I have this one paper I have to write, it's really hard for me to do stuff like that. Now, luckily enough, trading does pretty well. Obviously, the dopamine rushes that you get, keep me active with it. And, having to keep track of multiple different assets at all points in time, keeps my brain active. And that works well with ADD. At the same time, the business side of things, I do very poorly with. One of the things I do regret when I was doing the one-on-ones, I never was rude to somebody, completely abandon them. But one thing that would constantly happen is I would schedule something and completely forget about it until, I was too late. And then we would have to reschedule, stuff like that. Doing the live streams, getting up, getting ready, want to be on stream, all that kind of stuff. It's hard for me to do that most days. And then sometimes I go into a manic state where I live stream 30 days out of 30 days. So I just want to be able to be a little bit more consistent for not only for mostly myself, but for you guys as well. For the people that look forward to these live streams, on helping them figure out what they're going to do or just how to trade in general. I just want to be there. So just my thoughts, my daily thoughts, what I've been working on recently. Have you thought about modafinil? I don't think they prescribe modafinil in the United States. I've heard very, very good things about it, how it's a healthier alternative to Adderall, but does the same thing. I don't know why they choose not to prescribe it in the United States, but hey, that's what I'm working with. One of the crazy things is let's say you get a medical bill. What they'll send you is just a medical bill. It won't be the itemized list of everything that they charged you for. But if you call back and you ask them for an itemized list, the bill that you get afterwards will be cheaper. I don't know, I can't, say outright by how much, but saline bags, Band-Aids even, they'll charge crazy, $5 for a Band-Aid. So obviously to maintain integrity, which it's not integrity, it's just to maintain good looks, they'll remove that stuff from your bill so that you don't see that you got charged $5 for a Band-Aid. Do you do any fundamental investing? Not really. Most of what I do nowadays is based off of the chart. I'm obviously comfortable with BTC. If I wasn't involved with it fundamentally, I probably wouldn't be in the crypto market at all. But pretty much every single action that I take is based off of the chart itself. And I would go as far to say as, if I was to go onto the stock market, find a new company, I'd probably be using the same tactics, if not similar. You look at AMD, Nvidia, Australian dollar, Tesla, they all have been shown to be comfortable rotating around ABC setups. The last major, I would say the last two major ones that I did based on fundamental was Tesla and AMD. All right. I sold all my Tesla on stream back when it popped, which obviously looking back at it wasn't the biggest mistake, but I definitely wish I would have held some of it. One, because obviously I believed in Tesla. There's nothing wrong with that. AMD, when I invested in AMD, it was about $7.50. And the reason why I did it was because they released the Ryzen keynote, and I was just looking at some of the technologies that they were implementing, and that in a couple years, they wouldn't beat Intel immediately, but in a couple years they would have, and they did. I mean, if you're buying Intel processors nowadays, you have to have a very good reason to do so. AMD processors, like the middle range, like the 3700, the 4700, I think the 4700, if I'm not wrong. No, 5700, my bad. They skipped a number for some reason. Those price to performance ratios are outlandish compared to Intel's. I don't think I'll be switching back to Intel anytime soon. And I mean, the stock price has reflected that substantially. I bought in when it was $7.50, and I have continued to buy in periodically whenever I do see a nice ABC setup pullback. And to today's date, it is $152.52. All right. So, I mean, that was the last major fundamental that I really got into. Obviously, Bitcoin as well, but hey, that's a no-brainer. Well, at least you would think so. Who makes the vape that you prefer to use? I enjoy using a vape when I trade as well, but I don't like the ones that push out a cloud. You can get a reusable, like 50 nic device. I forget what they actually, salt nicotine. You can get a reusable salt nicotine device. That's not going to blow out a gigantic cloud. But I've had really big problems with all of those. After a while, like, they'll work pretty good when you first get them, but after a while they'll start spitting fluid into your lungs, which is not good for you. It doesn't do anything really major to you, but what it will do is all of that fluid, it's a very small amount, will go into your lungs, and then you get a massive hit of nicotine into your system and your eyes start watering. That's not an enjoyable experience. If it is, you're very weird. So I just tend to stick to hide disposables because, yeah, they're a little bit more on your pockets because they're disposables. You have to keep buying them, but they're consistent. I've never had a problem with them, and they're good flavor. He said, yeah, bro, I've had it my whole life. I took Adderall in the 8th grade, 9th grade, and it made me a robot. So, I mean, I'm no stranger. I've taken Adderall before, and I can say without a doubt that it does make my quality of life better. The best way I can describe it perfectly as well, because I was about 12, 13 years old, and I was in the car with my mom and stepdad, and we were in the middle of a city. It wasn't a big city. It was Fredericksburg, Virginia. And I was just joking, and I put my mom's glasses on. So it's somebody else's glasses, and it's their prescription of what they're supposed to wear. So then I put them on, and I couldn't cuss at the time because I was a kid and my mom was in the car, but I would have yelled the F word because I was angry. Like, I didn't think about my vision being bad. I didn't think about my vision being good. It was just vision. And I learned, I thought that's what it looked like. I thought that's what the world looked like. And I put these glasses on, and it was like I was in hyperspace. Everything was crystal clear. And it just so happened my mom's prescription was pretty much the exact prescription I needed. And that changed my life. So one day, my sister, discussing the side effects and how much it helped her, she lent me one of hers, a prescription meant for somebody else. I tried it, and it was that same exact feeling. And, looking forward to seeing if the doctor does think that's something I should be on. What should I have for dinner? Pork chops and roasted potatoes. I don't know if that sounds good to you, but we have that for HelloFresh in a couple of nights. We're going to cook that. How expensive is the medical care in the U.S. from Argentina? And here it's pretty affordable. For us, I mean, for me, like I said, I haven't tried out this healthcare plan yet. I don't even think I've gotten approved yet. Still, pending. $200 a month. Hey man, hope all is well. Long time no see. Been like 5 months. What's up, man? Did you not want the last Wick ABC or just missed it? I was in the car driving, and it's so insignificant that I'm not looking to enter right now because I missed it. All right, if we go back down, we put in a lower low on BTC. All is well and good. But if not, we have an ABC right here coming off of this wave. All right, so I'll just enter right here. Like I said, on Bybit, that came out to about 56,576 is my entry. If I was basing it off of this chart right here, it'd be about $70 more that I would enter higher. Hi Kite, how are you? I'm doing pretty good. I got my head thrown in a loop today. Like I said, I'm hoping to God, all right, that whoever I talked with does have the best intentions. Like I said, he told me that he gets paid by commission. So I know everybody's got to eat. And like, you guys know like how in the malls and stuff, you'll be walking down and like there'll be those vendors that are not an actual shop. They'll just be renting a vendor cart. I had one guy in Myrtle Beach, I walked by him and I was like pretty far down the lane, and he like shouts out, "Hey Yeezys," because I got $500 pair of shoes on, and obviously he's selling shoe cleaner, so he's like, that's my target right there. So I don't need shoe cleaner. I don't care about keeping my shoes clean. But those people got to eat too. So I understand stuff like that. I don't think that should be allowed in the medical community, because that incentivizes people to go, what's going to give me the highest paycheck versus what the person actually needs. Now, in this case scenario, if everything goes right and this healthcare company is good, for me, obviously, by the looks of it, I checked out the Better Business Bureau. It's got a lot of complaints. But I mean, a lot of insurance companies have that. I checked it on Yelp. It's got a lot of complaints. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of scared, but at the same time, if they try to charge me a cent more after I say, "Nuh-uh, you guys aren't doing shit," oh, they're done for. Because see, here's the problem. Most people don't have the resources to go after companies like this. All right, I can hire somebody that can screw them up. And I know they're a healthcare company and they got probably millions to billions, but I will try. I'm going to be petty too. Like, it's only $200 a month. Now that's a lot, but for the case scenario that I'm in, it's relatively small. But I mean, I'm just being cautious. Like, I was like this when I went to go get my first car and I had to get car insurance. But that was miles easier than whatever this process is. I know it's a whole different thing. You got people's health versus a car, but I don't know. It's just being a little bit. I'm on edge. Hello, sir. Good morning. Good morning. I'm not being lazy, all right? Most people, if they had a personal concierge, walk them through the process, they're just going to go cheapest, no deductible, and then get it. I'm being very cautious with this. I've looked them up on the Better Business Bureau, on Yelp, just covering all my bases. And like I said, the first sign that they are not who they say they are in terms of they try to weasel their way out of a bill or anything like that, I'm switching. Because I refuse to believe that my mom's insurance company, which is Kaiser Permanente, is not available in my area, which it's only an hour away. Like, she's only an hour away from me, so I don't know. That's all working out. Why don't you look at the... Okay, so why don't I look at the Bybits BTC chart? All right, listen up. So yesterday, I was looking at the Bybits BTC chart, and then someone else goes, why are you looking at the Bybit BTC chart? You should look at something a little bit bigger. What am I supposed to do? Now, I'm trading off of Bybits chart and where the wicks are placed, but for this I'm just using BTC USD on Bitstamp because it's a higher in exchange, a lot more money flowing through it. Can you talk us through why you have your long position there, please? Sure. So originally when we looked at this trend yesterday, we were coming off of this bounce right here, and my previous entry point was from this level, 58,424. Reason being, at the time we could only count one thing. We had 1, 2, 3, ABC. All right. So if this is our only ABC that we can identify, now, yesterday we did talk about, it possibly coming back up and then coming back down and putting in a lower low to form a larger ABC, which, is kind of what it did already, but not quite. It's kind of like working out like an ABC flat almost. All right. So at the time, we could only see this within the C wave. All right. So in cases like this where the A is so far away from the C, you have to use what's in your C wave in order to grab an entry. So right here, that's how I originally came up with my entry right here. Got stopped out about 3 times. All right. So now if we do have a turn to the downside, especially if we put in a lower low, which we have, but not by a whole lot, we now have to treat this as a ABCA and then ABCB and then ABCC. Now, it could still continue downwards and put in a lower low. From that point, my entry would be from 55,722. All right, not what I'm currently getting an entry at, which is based off of this last wick right here. All right, on Bybit, which is what my entry is based off of, my entry is set for 56,576. All right, if you need to rewind that a couple times, if you want to copy me, don't be my guest. It's not financial advice, but that is what I'm longing and why I'm longing. Now, I can't be on here too long today. I'll probably stream for like another 10-20 minutes. We kind of covered everything. BTC, Ethereum, KDA, sushi, everything that I'm involved with at the moment. Well, not quite. Not involved with KDA, not involved with ETH in terms of trading. But other than that, I still got to call. I want to call my stepdad run everything that we just talked about by him, see what his opinion is, and see if I can't get something figured out. Because, I mean, I want to get this done as soon as possible. And I have a over the phone, you know, like through video chat with a legitimate doctor consultation booked for tomorrow at 6 p.m. because apparently, you know, with COVID and everything like that, for stuff like that where it's like a evaluation of like your psychology, they can do it over the phone as long as they can see you and see your mannerisms and everything like that. So that's only like $150 out of pocket, which is pretty cheap. And then if you go on GoodRx, which is usually what you'll find the prices for what you're going to pay, you know, at you know, Walgreens and stuff. If they do prescribe me Adderall or anything like that, the most it'll ever be is like $80 out of pocket. But like I said, I got conflicting information everywhere. This is so confusing. Dude on the phone says, no, this is exactly what you need. Internet scam. Stay away from this. Like basically like calling it a shit healthcare company. They're a legitimate company. They've been around for 62 years. But people obviously don't like healthcare companies at all. And then, dude. Today has been, oh, I'm not even in focus. Sorry. I have it like super zoomed in today. So like I'm very forgetful about being in the position. Yo, do you have an S580? I have an S560. I think the 580 and the 560 are pretty much the same exact thing. It's just on the 2020 and above models. They're going to be calling it the 580 from now on because they want to appeal to their Chinese customers because 8 is a very lucky number. And I think the new 580s have 496 horsepower. Mine only has 463. Really curious why you don't count expanded flats. I do when they happen, but they don't happen very often. All right, like right now, all right, I would consider this an ABC flat correction. I'm treating it as such. And we've talked about how I treat those. All right, if we do have an A, a B, and a C, and the C does not go below the A, all right, and you're you're somewhat confident this is trying to make a bottom for a propulsion upwards. What are you typically going to see? You're going to see a downtrend turn into an uptrend, turn into a downtrend, and then from there you can grab your entry here. All right, that's exactly what we're doing on this. Now, I don't know if expanding flats is something different from a regular flat, but so far I don't see anything calling for concern. I know somebody the other day in another live stream was trying to say that this was my A and this was my B, and we were looking for a double bottom off of that. For me, that's not how it works. That's not how my system works. All right, your B cannot be above your A. All right, so where did all this come from? All right, what do you call that? You have to start from your trends. We picked the lowest point coming from our last downtrend. All right, we have an ABC. All right, and that's how I got my short entry, which I'm still holding on to, by the way. All right, from right here. And now we're looking for where it might end. So we're looking for, ABC right here. If it comes back above that level, that could be the bottom. Or if this turns into a lower low situation, this would become an ABCA because it goes in multiples of 3. And then this would become our B. And whatever happens next will become our C. All right? That's how I'm coming to that conclusion. Don't know if that classifies as a expanding flat for you. Bro, we had a session when you started the channel out of MC1, and you told me that BTC would be 60K 2 years ago when we were sub 10K. Needless to say, I didn't act on it, but kudos to you and your fans. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. You noted you're looking at doing the sushi trade with a 1% stop loss. I always get stopped out with a tight stop loss like that. How do you go about deciding a 1% stop loss on something like this? So on BTC, I use 0.5% stop losses. So on volatile altcoins, you know, even Ethereum, all right, which isn't as volatile as like some of these other altcoins, but even Ethereum, I'll tend to use more than what I'm using on BTC. So 1%, 2%, 3%. Now, I'm not the dictator controlling your trades. If you want to use a 3% stop loss, be my guest. All right. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. All right. It's just for me personally, as I've worked with my strategy, all right, in order to make sure that it's worth taking these trades, the profit involved in the wins needs to be high enough to outweigh the amount of losses that you're taking along the way. All right. Because like I said, my win ratio is only like 15 to 20%. All right. You know, on a good month, it might be 22, 25. All right. But we can't count on stuff like that. So we have to make sure that when we take these trades, the R&R that we're collecting when we do take profit needs to be significant enough to make that difference. That's all. So, I mean, you can test it out, see how it works. It's all up to you. I see ABC's bullish and bearish on most altcoins all the time. Yeah. I mean, like take sushi for example. I mean, back when we were kind of like scalp trading it almost, we did very, very well. Let me bring up sushi. SDT. Let me do Binance. Do they have more information? Yes, they do. This is not the same coin. Oh, it's sushi up. Yeah. All right, here we go. This was my old sushi chart. This is back when I was doing the lower lows right here. And I'm pretty sure we took, forgot which one we took, but I took an ABC somewhere here and, I ended up holding it until I got stopped out. I don't think I re-entered, which did kind of suck. But we were on Discord chat live, like live streaming, talking to everybody. And this was when the market was crashing. And I think we got a short position from like right here. We got a short position coming past this right here, or this little head and shoulders pattern right here. I know you can't see it because it's a higher time frame. Let me drop down a little bit. But there was like a smaller head and shoulders ABC top forming. Yep, right there. Boom. And I remember sitting overnight with people pretty much all day as this dropped down. And at the time, sushi was pretty new on Bybit. So when it did get down to these lower levels, there was a huge disparity between the market price and the limit price. So obviously, I'm trying to get the limit price. If the price is at $6.80 and that is worth $5,000 profit, but because of how crazy the market was at the time, and everybody's freaking out, and it's a new coin, low volume, I was only able to mark it out at like $9 or $10. So I only made like $3-4 grand, which is absolutely fine. Don't get me wrong, but it did kind of suck to have that profit but not have that profit. I'm not saying that 3 grand is, I'm ungrateful for that. Absolutely not. But yeah, ABCs have worked out pretty good for Mr. Sushi, which is why I'm excited. You know, like during this whole process over here, this sideways action, I wanted to trade Sushi, don't get me wrong, but it was so disgusting to look at that it wasn't worth me jumping in, and I'm glad I didn't. All right. I mean, right here was the last major ABC trade on Sushi, which was pretty excellent, but you would have had to wait, what, like a full month? From the time of entry, you would have waited, yeah, about a month and 10 days almost to reach the 0.441, which if you're using a 0.5, 1% stop loss, which that was still probably about like a 40 to 50 restored ratio trade. It's pretty good. So that's why I'm excited. You know, we have an ABC top into an ABC correction. Just got to get back above this $8, 50 cents level right here. And Sushi will be sitting pretty for the foreseeable future. What's the major difference of any with trading in the bear market and bull market? I mean, you're going to notice differences just how price moves. I would say that ABCs probably do a lot better in a bear market. During bull markets, the reason why they are a little bit more finicky is not because the market's not respecting ABCs, but rather the shorts that you're taking a lot of the times will be surpassed. We saw that back in August. Was it August or... Let me check. Yeah, August. I was shorting every single ABC top. You know, this is the first one that we shorted. And I only shorted pretty much down to here because I was only taking this right here as my target. We caught that, and then we shorted this top, ended up getting stopped out. Then I shorted this top, ended up making up a good amount of profit. But then after that, they started failing a lot. So we shorted this top, got stopped out a few times. Didn't short that top because we didn't put in a higher high. But then once we put in a higher high here, I shorted that top. I shorted this top, shorted this top right here. So we got stopped out a good number of times in August. But then obviously we shorted, we were shorting this right here. But I caught a smaller time frame entry from right here. So I went to bed after setting up the trade, got entered. By the time I woke up to 7 grand profit. We lost about 2.5 to 3K going up in this uptrend. All right, and by the time we were back down to here, I think I had made 10 grand back to the portfolio. And then we caught this long right here as a hedge position and then took profit on it right about here. So, I mean, as long as you can identify when you're probably going to be in a pretty gnarly uptrend, really the only time that you're really going to be able to say that with confidence is when you're breaking an all-time high after being in a consolidation for multiple years. All right, that's a no-brainer. All right, so when the bull market happened back in the like late end of 2019 or 2019 2020 2020, I pretty much just played the breakouts because we're in a pretty gnarly uptrend. And as long as you're using good risk management, letting the portfolio compound, and not doing anything stupid, you can do incredible things. All right, but in these sideways markets, you gotta be a little bit more careful and just not expect to become a millionaire overnight. But if you can identify that we're in an uptrend, all right, you simply go, all right, I'll be a little bit more cautious on taking shorts and a little bit more patient. But when it comes to these pullbacks, all right, A, B, C. entry, massive profit. A, B, C, entry, or you could even gotten a better entry right here, massive profit. Right here, A, B, C, entry, massive profit, all the way up. So if you can just wait for the pullbacks instead of, you know, trying to short every single top, you'll do a lot better. So right here, for example, all right, what do you see going up this uptrend? So this is a lot smaller of a trend than obviously the bigger side of the bull market. But what do you see? You still see it. A, B, C. And let me zoom in a little bit because I know it might be a little bit too small if you're on a phone or something. A, B, C. Entry right at that bottom. Boom. All right, this one right here wasn't as pretty, but it works. You got A, B, C. And I'm not denying that you probably would have entered maybe like right here. Oh, didn't mean to do that. There we go. Took me a second to reorient myself. But like right here, you probably would have entered like right here once or twice, gotten stopped out, but then you would enter here, had a good uptrend. Didn't put in you didn't get stopped out on this last one right here. Right here, you see A, B, C. This was a flat correction, right? But even within that flat correction, you can see an ABC that you could have gotten an entry off of, right there. So now I'm repeating that same exact process. We repeated it right here, right here. I got my entry here. I took profit in this general area. I didn't take profit at the all-time high. All right, but now we're just repeating that process. And once again, A, B, C, entry. We're just repeating that process. That's all it is. Nothing changes. And like, I've looked at charts from like 15, 20 years ago. I don't know why. They all have this same exact pattern and nobody seems... Oh, I gotta take this call, guys. I'm so sorry. Okay, just a spam caller. I thought it was something important. But yeah, that's it. Nothing changes. I don't know why other people haven't picked up on this. It blows my mind. Thoughts on Litecoin? Thank you for the donation, by the way. I appreciate that. Thoughts on Litecoin in the short term and long term? It's come down quite a bit, and I'm considering picking up some. Let's check out the chart. I mean, Litecoin's a good pickup anyways. Like, if I had to break it down, you know, Bitcoin's gold, Ethereum's platinum, and Litecoin is silver. I mean, that's what the thing is anyways. It's just a Bitcoin but silver. You got a couple different options. So I mean, you can see on the chart right here, we marked this out before it had that major pump to the upside. But that being said, immediate term for Litecoin. Litecoin looking like this does make me want to think, and I still think that ultimately that BTC might continue down to put in a lower low. All right, like something that we can actually really identify rather than just like a tiny little wick past. All right, but Litecoin looks pretty much identical to BTC. Oh, it's all the way at the bottom here. So you have A, you have B, and you have C. All right, so right now, it could either be that this is working out like an ABC flat correction, on the C wave, and this is going to be the full correction. It'll come back up, or we're going to put in a lower low, and that's going to change the dynamic of what we're looking at. Instead, we're going to be looking at a ABCA, ABCB, and then put in a lower low C. The price that, if that does happen, that would be picking up Litecoin at. Not me personally, like I said, you know, I have Litecoin, but I'm not dumping more into the market. Would be around the 199.64 range. Like I said, with the condition of we put in a lower low and then come back above that level, because that shows that the market doesn't want to exceed that level. Came down a test, but it got a rejection. If things do happen to work out a little bit differently, say this is an ABC flat correction rather than putting in a lower low, instead you have this small time frame ABC right here that could be used as a possible entry, and that entry would be at about $210.68. And it seems like we just got triggered into the BTC long. Yep. Sure did. Right now I'm up 15% on sushi from the entry point, and I'm not up currently anything because it's just kind of stagnant right now on BTC. Maybe people have not picked up on it because of the simplicity behind it prior to you. Kind of thought about you. I thought you needed MSKU indicators. I don't know what that stands for, but I'm imagining that they're like just complicated indicators. I have to attribute some of the successes to psychedelic use. I don't advise psychedelics for anybody. Make sure that you're healthy first and everything like that, and your family track record of mental health is good. But they do have a fascinating property, which is being able to spot patterns. Now, I don't think when they were talking about this, they intended it to be used on financial markets, but like you'll see the pattern and the texture better in tree trunks, stuff like that. So, I think it had a huge deal to do with the fact that something that's right in front of your face, but you can't see, it's like putting on a pair of glasses. And it literally happened for me like that. There was a day when I looked at my chart and it looks totally different than what it looked like when I first started. That's really what I wanted. I don't want to look at indicators and stuff like that. I want to be able to just pop open, a basic Coinbase chart and know what I need to do rather than go consult 1,000 different indicators. You have conditional limit orders for entry? Yep. They're not limit orders, they're market orders. Conditional market. You can use conditional limit orders when, you're trying to put in trades. You would have to set up like a trigger price, and then, it would have to come back down like half a cent in order for you to get actually in the trade if you want it to be an actual limit order. Only problem with that is sometimes price moves way too fast to the upside or to the downside to hit your trigger and then come back down. So you might miss an entry if you're trying to do it just limit. I'm more than willing to pay the fees in order to have access to instantaneous trades. That way I don't miss them. Eternity, don't worry about it. All right. Okay, here's what I did. All right, in order to get adept at training my brain to spot ABCs, All right. No joke. Go to the Bitstamp chart for BTC USD and start from the very beginning. All right. Obviously with that, you can't really do a really, really small time frame. I think like maybe the 8 hour might work. And just start doing ABCs. All right. Right here, you got A, B, C. You can see the market try to come up and test that. Ended up getting rejected a couple times, but then once it got back above it, you can see it came back down and retest it to the upside. All right. Right here, we got A, B, and then within our C wave, you can see A, B, C. Boom. All right. Right here, you got A, B, C. You can see how the market worked off of this line. You can see right here and right here. Tested, rejected, broke above, came back, tested, found support. We continue to move on. All right. Right here, we had A, we had B, we had C. You can see right here, came up and tested it, got rejected, came back above it, and continued testing it, fell through right here. You would have gotten wicked out, but then once it came back above, you would have got back in. All right. Now, obviously, if you're working off an 8 hour time frame, you're probably using more than a 0.5% stop loss, especially this early on in BTC's history. So, I mean, I don't know who would be using more than that, or, less than that. Right here, A, B, C. Came back above. Look how beautiful that entry would have been. $539. Ride it all the way up. Right here. A, B, C. Buy if it comes back above. Right here, we got A, B, C. Right here. And I mean, I'm not drawing the ABC tops, but you can see like right here, A, B, C. A, B, C. Here. This looks like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 structure, but you got, and this is what I was trying to tell you guys before. A lot of people go like, why don't you use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5s anymore? Why do you always use ABCs? Look at this trend. Now, it's not exact. It never really can be. Actually, yes, it is. Okay, never mind. All right. Look at this. All right. 1, I'll mark it out for you guys. 1, 2, and 3 are in an uptrend. 4 broke the uptrend, and then 5 was simply the retest of the uptrend. So if you just break this down into a more simple, easy to, digest thing, you only have 3 trends: an uptrend, a downtrend, and an uptrend. That's why I only use ABCs, even if they do turn out to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5s. All right. Right here, we had A, we had B, we had C. This wasn't the greatest thing in the world. All right. If you look at it, the A and the C are so far away from each other. But I mean, there could have been something on a smaller time frame to give you a better entry. But even if it wasn't, in comparison to what you got, I mean, that's a really good entry. You can see it came up and tested it, got rejected, but then once it came back above it, tested it right here, continued to the upside. We can't really see, like once we start getting closer to the top, and if anybody's heard me talk about this, you'll hear me use the phrase, the market is getting thin. And what I mean by that is when you're looking at, say the 8 hour, you can see how on the 8 hour, we can really identify when these trend shifts happen and when we would like to get in. But you can see as we approach the top of the market, we can no longer see where those ABCs are within these trends. They just look like one single downtrend and then it blasted back off to the upside. All right. That's what I mean by the market is getting thin. You can see right here, this was an ABC flat correction. All right. I don't think we put in a higher high there. We might have done it on another exchange, but we didn't do it here. So you would have had to find your entry off of the C wave within it. All right. But if you look at the entire market as a whole, all right, from where we were back in, 2019 and 2018, what do you see? All right. You see A. Well, it depends on where you want to put it, but I'm just going to do this. A, B, C. All right. If we come back above this, you can enter long. And you can see COVID tried to break that line. All right. Now, if we go down to a smaller time frame, look how exact this market is. We broke back above it after having the COVID crash, came back down, retested it, had to get another retest, but then we were on our way. All right. So the entire market revolved around us holding 5,850, whether or not we were going to remain bullish or possibly go further down. Who knows? All right. But then if you look at, we had this ABC correction right here, retest to the upside. So this entire thing, all it was, I guess you could say, was an expanding ABC flat. We had A, we had B, and we had C. But what do I always tell you guys? Within the C wave, you should be able to find an entry. So right here we had A, B, C. If it comes back above, you can re-enter the market. Right here. Now, unfortunately, I wasn't able to capitalize on this because at the time I was not paying attention to Bitstamp's chart as much as I probably should have. I was on USDT, so USDT did not put in a lower low. But right here, you can see downtrend, uptrend, downtrend, A, uptrend, downtrend, uptrend, B, and then just a single fast downtrend, creating an ABC structure. If it comes back above, hold on to your trade. Definitely one of the ones I wish I would have held on to. All right, but gave it up. But we did make some good money off of this, the long from down here anyways. So this song isn't published on Spotify or anything like that. A dude from my group made it for me. That way I could play it non-copyright on the live streams. It's like my own personal theme song. So I'm very sorry it's not published on anything. Alright guys, with that being said, we covered today's price action. If you guys missed it, go watch the beginning of the live stream. Skip ahead a little bit because I did talk about some personal things. And I'll get right into the TA. We explained KDA, we explained BTC, Ethereum, sushi. Everything's there. But yeah, with that being said, I'm gonna call it quits for tonight. I gotta call some people. And yeah, I'll probably be back on Wednesday, see how things are going. And hopefully I got some better news for you guys. Like I said, guys, I'm not afraid of I'm just afraid of the headache that this might cause trying to work with healthcare people. Hopefully it works out good. Lawrence, thank you, man. I appreciate it. 1, 2, 3, take care, dude. Thank you, man. You as well. Thanks, Kite. Oh, thank you. Let's go, KDA. And like I said, I don't know much about KDA, and if you want to know more about it, go to Ryan. But as far as technical analysis wise, we've identified where I would, if I was to get into it, where I would buy in. All right, guys, let's go ahead and do the thing. Intermission. Kind of weird because I don't have. All right, let's see. Goodbye.